I want to talk about nutritional labels. Maybe you can answer this, Andrea. How do you read a nutritional label to get the information you need?
The nutritional label, I'm looking mainly at the ingredients, and obviously starting from priority of the most ingredient, it should be that it sort of follows suit, that the highest quantity is the first ingredient. Or, you know, you can always see if you don't recognize something in it, it's generally not good for you, and it's obviously a toxin or a chemical in the system, and is going to be an anti-nutrient. All the E numbers are always there, all the fructose, the sucrose, the maltodextrin, all sugars. There's often a lot of soya modified starch. Those are all extra carbohydrates and sugars. So when you don't recognize something, it's almost like a warning bell. But breaking up food.
Yeah, but they give the nutritional breakdown, and that's generally per 100 grams of the product or per serving, which can be a bit tricky because if something's got a lot of, let's say, sugar in, often they hide it by doing per serving, where it doesn't seem so bad. So instead of finding, oh, it's 80% sugar, they say, well, it's got less because they're doing it per 30 gram serving. And I think that's a good place to intervene. And to make it more simple, I know in the UK they've got this traffic light system where you have green, orange and red. And so it's easier for people to understand because reading food labels is complicated.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's very complicated. And then they break it down from fat, types of fat, the carbohydrate, and it's often very difficult to interpret. So I think industry should focus on giving like a traffic light system. I'm not sure if that's the correct way, but they need to do research to find out what's the best way to get the message across, what's healthy or not.
I like that, even on menus as well, and sort of in some of the restaurants.
Well, when looking at that breakdown on the nutritional label, I know a lot of people just look at the calorie part. What's the most important section you should look at on that nutritional label?
Depends on what
you could look at the fat and the carbohydrate, and it's also the type of fat because it's the saturated fat which comes from animals, which is more harmful. It's associated with elevated cholesterol risk for heart disease, but also it creates an inflammation in your body, and that's, you know, when you become obese, you became sort of inflamed, and saturated fat's one of the drivers of that.
Saturated and hydrogenated fats you would steer clear of. Also obviously if the salt content is also a value, and it's table salt. I mean, the salt can be good when it's in its whole form with lots of minerals, but pure table salt with sodium chloride is not the best for the system, especially when there's conditions involved. And the sugars and the fats, I would think, and the carbohydrates is a huge one at the moment.